Hi everyone, I'm Kevin, and this is HFX by Bike, a channel all about getting around Halifax by bike. In today's video, I'll be spotlighting the Vernon Bikeway. It runs for just over a kilometer between Quinpool Road and Dalhousie University on the Halifax Peninsula. I did a video on this bikeway last year, but I've gotten a lot better at shooting these videos since then, and it was actually disrupted by construction at the time, so I thought I'd do a reshoot. As always, I'll be playing a game of +1 -2 along the way. Every time I encounter something that makes my trip safer or more convenient, I'll add a point, and every time I encounter something that makes it less safe or less convenient, I'll take away 2 points. You can keep track of how I think the ride is going by looking at the heads-up display in the bottom right-hand corner. First up, you'll notice that there are left and right turn lanes, and you might be wondering where bikes are supposed to go if they're going to go straight through the intersection to hit the bikeway, and it's not really specified. Most cyclists tend to sit in the left turn lane or the leftmost side of the right turn lane, but it seems like it's kind of a choose-your-own-adventure kind of thing. On the upside, the Quinpool intersection is a forced turn for cars, but bikes can proceed straight through. This actually predates the bikeway itself, and its main function is to minimize interference with cars trying to turn on or off a Quinpool, but it's still useful for keeping cars off the bikeway. A lot of the intersections have bumped out shoulders to force cars to make slower, safer turns. The intersection at Jubilee is another forced turn for cars, and this one is actually introduced specifically for the bikeway. It's a four-way stop, which is a good compromise in priority between the bikeway and Jubilee itself. This moving truck is blocking my visibility a bit, but that's okay, I can just slow down and move past it. The intersection with Coburg is another forced turn for cars. They can only move right, whereas bikes are free to move in any direction. There's actually a dedicated mini lane for the bikes here, and it has a cool feature which will detect any bikes stopped in it and switch the light priority in favor of the bikeway. You can proceed as soon as the intersection is clear, but the sensor means that you're never going to have to wait for a very long time, even in heavy traffic. Very cool. The bikeway terminates with a direct connection to the protected lanes on University Avenue. Okay, let's check out the outbound direction now. The bikeway gets pretty good use, especially among parents bringing their kids to and from school. A consequence of this is that you get a bit of a safety numbers effect where drivers on the bikeway tend to be pretty mindful of bikes, mostly. I did some informal traffic counts for another video, and during the morning rush hour, about 20% of the road traffic on Vernon is made up entirely of bikes. Vernon has sharrows painted on the road surface at various points. They don't actually do anything on their own, but I like them on bikeways as a reminder to watch out for cyclists. The paving on Vernon is really good, the street is mostly flat, and the tree canopy makes the entire stretch really nice to bike through, especially in the summer. For most of the day, there's very little car traffic on the bikeway, although it can get pretty busy during the morning and evening rush hours. The Quinpool intersection gets a mini bike lane in the outbound direction to let bikes queue up to cross at the lights. The main limitation of the sign-enforced turn rules for cars on the bikeway is that they're sign-enforced and so can just be ignored. Most drivers don't do this, to be clear, but a non-trivial number use the efficient pathing of the bikeway to skip rush hour traffic on Roby. As a result, it's not too strange to find a car waiting for the light in the mini bike lanes. The angled parking spots on Quingate Place are oriented such that drivers' visibility is minimized when backing out. This actually makes them a safety hazard for both bikes and cars. This end of the bikeway allows access to a grocery store and other shops if heading left, and several sets of bike infrastructure if heading right. And technically it exceeds 1 kilometer, so it gets a 1-point distance bonus. As a quick summary, the Vernon Bikeway is probably the best in the city in terms of efficiency of movement. It connects the west and south ends of the peninsula and provides a useful corridor for people commuting to the universities, hospitals, or just dropping their kids off to school. Traffic can be a little heavy at times, but for a lot of your trips you'll see almost as many bikes as cars. That's it for this week. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.